and Kim, I want to go to you first. The importance, we're talking about financial education, having somebody in your corner to help guide you through these waters that we're getting ready to come into that are going to be very rough, and people have to be prepared. Talk about the importance of having coaches and mentors and experts.
So I've had mentors. Robert has had mentors. We've had all our life. Today we have mentors, and we're very fortunate to have access to people like Nomi and Gerald and Tom to learn from, to ask questions of. I don't think we would be where we are. I know we would not be where we are had we not had the mentors. And to Robert's point, I mean, we have real estate mentors, we have business mentors, we have investment mentors, we have health mentors. But to your point, Robert, about interest rates. So the very first property that we bought back in 1989, the interest rate was at 10%. So people have gotten very, very spoiled and lazy, in my opinion, with these low interest rates. You just have to get smarter. If you can get a deal that's cash flowing at a 10% interest rate, they're out there, and they will be more and more out there, because people who were lazy and bought when they barely could, stay above water, unfortunately, they're going to lose their properties. And if you're smarter and you understand what you're doing, there's going to be huge opportunities out there. And mentors, back to your point, Chris, mentors are key. They're a key.
No doubt. And I think I think it's so important that our viewers recognize that regardless of what's happening, what's on the horizon, there are opportunities. There are going to be new opportunities. Robert, you've talked about that, for years. But I want to ask Gerald, because of course we were talking about trends earlier. Can you hone in on one or two trends that to you show some opportunity going into 2023?
So when you're looking at when you put inflation into it, and by raising interest rates is going to do nothing to bring down inflation, because inflation wasn't caused by this. It was caused by the fake money that the central banksters and governments pumped into the system. And then going back to what Nomi said about them raising interest rates, and they're going to do it. They're going to raise them, and then they're going to lower them before the 2024 elections. They do it all the time. Go back to when Reagan did it, same thing. Yeah. Oh, you had the 1987 stock market crash. Remember that one? Yeah, they pumped up the markets, lowering interest rates. So they're going to do it again, and it goes back to gold. Why aren't gold prices higher? Because the dollar's strong. How could the dollar be strong when you have $31 trillion in government debt, and when you put all the other debt onto it, Social Security, on and on and on? What are the numbers? Naomi knows better than me. Probably about 200 trillion plus. So the only reason...
286.
How much?
No, 286 trillion in the world.
All right.
It's a lot.
So the only reason the dollar is strong is because the other currencies are so weak. But the dollar's not worth anything. They're pumping all this cheap money into the system. So the rising inflation rates are only going to hurt the economy. And it goes back to what Robert and Kim is saying about buying when everybody thinks it's going down. It's going to go back up. I mean, what was the average price of a home this year? It was like $420,000 or something in the United States. In 1984, I bought 38 acres in an old house for $28,000. Inflation? We haven't seen anything yet. It's going to continue to get worse. And to me, it goes back to gold. Gold, to me, is the most precious safe haven asset. Gold, real estate, to me, are number one and number two and number two and number one. And so when you have to, again, look at the facts. And again, what people, being Americans, people don't know what's going on around the world. They don't have a clue of the protests that are going on in the Czech Republic, in Italy, in France, in Germany, with people taking to the streets because of the high energy prices and their economies going down and they can't afford to live. You're going to see inflation. You're going to see protests. You're going to see a lot of social unrest. So to me, when things get like this, gold, again, is number one. And inflation And then gold to me is only being held down because of the artificially boosted dollar.
I think, again, that the Fed is going to continue to raise rates, which is going to squeeze the consumer and therefore make them have to think more about the investments they make that will pay returns, like real estate, like the appreciation of commodities. And then, of course, there's going to be those bargains and those specific gems in the real estate sector. And there's going to be gold, because you're right. I agree with you, Gerald, and also I think all of us here on the gold page. The dollar has gotten strong for a number of reasons: uncertainty throughout the world, geopolitics, problems, other currencies being weaker, and the Fed going crazy on a tear with this accelerated interest rate hike situation because they got inflation so wrong for so long and created a lot of it, right? So they're in this sort of weird other universe. But the reality of that means that at some point they have to pause and they have to go and cut rates. And I agree that's going to happen during the election year. And so you position yourself with, real estate deals now, new and traditional energy along the way, commodities along the way until we hit pause mid-year. We do see an S&P rise on the back of some of those sectors because they do have all the incentives around them. And then in 2024, I think we're going to see that the economies are being ripped apart for all of these reasons. And the Fed and other central banks are going to turn around and pump more money into the system and reduce rates. And then we're going to have an election. So that's what I think is going to happen.
Because I do believe, like you said, there's a large portion of this country that is in la la land. They have no clue what's around the corner. I mean, we've talked about it, Robert. If people think civil war is not a possibility, they're naive. It's just that's where we are. But for our viewers that are being proactive, they're on here. Naomi, you gave us some great ones, but I do want to ask the rest of you, what are some real wealth creation opportunities going into 2023? I'll start with Robert and Kim.
Well, let me start with this because Tom hit it earlier. Taxes go up, interest rates go up, and all this stuff. But taxes and interest rates are the same thing. Inflation is a tax. And the smart investor, inflation will make them richer. Interest rates will make them richer. And so will taxes make them richer. And so that's why we say at Rich Dad, you have a left ear and a right ear. What's between that is yours. It doesn't belong to the Treasury and it doesn't belong to Wall Street. But you're responsible for this 6-inch gap here. What do you put in it and who do you listen to? So this is your greatest asset or liability. And that's why Kim and I created the cash flow board game, which sits behind Kim. As Maria Montessori said, the great educational entrepreneur, what the hand does, the mind remembers. So my rich dad taught me about real estate playing Monopoly. 4 greenhouses, 1031, tax deferred exchange, red hotels. So Kim and I own red hotels, thousands and thousands of greenhouses, but our interest rates are fixed and all this other stuff. But it's a real game for Kim and I. And I think that's what I want to pass on to you. Like Kim and I are going to get richer and richer and richer. Naomi is, Gerald is, Tom is. We want you to get richer too, but you've got to take back control of this. But if somebody is running your 401k for you, you're out of control.
Yeah.
Right, Kim?
I think that's the key word is control, because we invest in things that we can control. Naomi is an expert in the stock market. I'm not interested in it. So if I have a question, I go to Naomi, but I can't control the stock market. We can control our real estate. We can control our businesses. We can control holding gold and silver instead of cash. And one of the things I want to say is one of the reasons I think these events like this are so important is because you've got to be ahead of the game. And I remember probably a year ago, we had one of these events, and I think it was Kenny was on the show, Kenny McElroy, and he was talking about the one thing you can do right now is fixed interest rates. So you know how many people probably fixed interest rates, maybe, I don't know, 1-2%. And now they're like, oh, should have fixed interest rates. Well, pay attention. There's clues out here. There's tips out here that are going to help you going forward. And you've got some great experts right here in front of you. But yes, we invest in things we can control. I can't, even our oil deals, we know the owner of these wells and we can talk to them at any time and get the scoop on what's really happening, not the fake news that's out there.
You know, Kim, the ironic thing is that things you control are the things you get tax benefits for. You don't get tax benefits for things you can't control.
Yeah.
Those things actually go together, and there's a reason, because what you can control are things that you can either manufacture, you can build, you can create. You can't control the things that are just derivatives of other people's build, control, and create. So tax incentives come from building and creating, and that's why you get the tax incentives and the same things you can control.
Amen.
Well said.
Well, and I think it's so important. We were talking about the importance of coaches. People need to recognize what's happening in the world right now. They're being sold a lie. More and more, there's this underlying theme that capitalism is evil. And of course, we know why that's the message they want to send. So I think there's never been a more important time to surround yourself with people like the group on this panel today, obviously, but others that are like-minded, so that you don't end up, getting this distorted view in your head where you think you need to rely on the government. I mean, it's a reality that we're all living in right now.
Well, I like too, Chris, that the coaches, the Rich Dad coaches, they're real teachers. I mean, they're out there and they're doing what they're coaching on. They're not theorizing. They're talking about real estate. They own real estate and they invest in real estate. So you want to learn from mentors and coaches who are doing what it is you want to do, who are not just talking about it like as a school teacher does.
Yeah.
I hire a coach when I go to the gym, but if the coach does the exercise for me, why even go? But that's what a 401k is, an IRA is, whatever else these guys invest in. If you want somebody else to invest for you, who cares? Right, Tom? I mean, you don't control the tax law, but you understand the tax law.
Well, yeah, and to go to this whole point about understanding the facts, I don't take somebody's opinion about what the tax law says. I research and read the tax law itself. I read the court cases. I read the regulations, and then I look at, okay, so what is it actually saying? And then I actually have to apply it. So the same thing is true when you talk about coaches. Your mentors include your advisors, your CPAs, your coaches, your financial advisors. I mean, these are people that you should be talking to, but then you take the action, not give up your control so that they have to take the action for you.
Well, and along that line, and I'm sure some of you, one of the things that's very difficult when people watch one of these discussions, they look at all of you and they recognize you've all reached a level of success and feel like maybe they can't relate. But certainly there was a time when you were venturing into new territory. It was something you weren't accustomed to. Maybe it was a new investment opportunity, but fear played into it. Why is it important for our viewers not to let fear hold them back? And I'd really like to hear from any of you that would like to.
Well, let me say this. You think I'm rich now? Wait till after this crash. Do you know what I mean? That's all I want to say. Kim and I and Naomi and Tom and Gerald, we don't stop learning. I had a benefit as a young boy. My middle name was Stupid. So I could always learn more. And the problem with a PhD, like my poor dad, he thought his PhD was going to protect him. And I was just in a bank right down the street from our house. And the bank was empty. It's a national bank. It was still full of customers. What was empty was the loan department. They weren't making loans anymore. And I'm going, interest rates, what, 5%? That's why I said, Kim and I were buying it at 9.5%. But we saw the trend, which is what Gerald talks about. I said, oh my God, the trends are a friend. Right, Gerald? The trend is your friend, or it could be your enemy.
Right here. The trend is your friend.
May I add something real quickly here? Is that we're all human beings and we all have fear. So I think people say, well, it's easy for you guys. You have money now, you're successful and all this. But we're all human beings. We all have fear and we all have doubt. But the difference is what do you do about it? And I think the most important thing is where Kim and I are blessed is we have people like Naomi and Tom and Gerald and the whole Rich Dad world, our coaches around us. that we know who to call when it's dark, when we're afraid. So like Kim calls Nomi, I call Nomi. I said, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen there? And it's not that she knows or not knows. I have somebody to talk to. And I think that's going to become your greatest asset or your liability. Because if you argue with an idiot or you take advice from an idiot, you have two idiots.
Probably the most important point that anybody can take away from this today. There's so much great information, but it's your choice. Who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the media? You listen to the world that's going to feed that fear? You're going to surround yourself with experts, people that are going someplace that you want to be, and listen to them. So I would just like to hear from each of you, just some last thoughts going into 2023. What are you most optimistic about?
I just want to say again, I'm optimistic that we're actually having this conversation and we're actually imparting information and a direction which says, look at facts, because facts are like the opposite of fear, right? When you are just letting fear guide you, you're not open to the facts. So just by definition, as soon as you open to actually getting information and thinking for yourself, that fear actually dissipates. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of opinion. But again, peeling that away, thinking for yourself, looking at facts is really important. And from my perspective, the facts are saying that the cost of credit is going to get higher. It's going to squeeze the consumer. It's going to create illiquidity in certain markets. And for the people that can access the liquidity that does exist into investments that are real and that are at deals and that can produce income going forward, are going to find those bargains. You just have to have your eyes open.
And Nomi, I would add to that, when you talk about fear, so I'm talking to a friend of mine recently, and she said her parents were in such fear a year ago of what was happening. So what did they do? They cut back, they shrunk to the point, and they had a very, very nice lifestyle, to the point where today the dad is an Uber driver and the mother works at Target. Oh. So I would say, I'm just reiterating what you're saying, Nomi, because people tend to pull back and then they find themselves in a horrific situation. So instead of pulling back, go forward and see where you can, take tiny steps, get the facts, take tiny steps, invest little monies to start, learn, but don't cringe back, because that will wipe you out.
Kim, I think you're entirely right. I actually think fear and uncertainty are the opportunity, because I'm in a profession where 95% of my competitors are afraid of the IRS. So if I'm not afraid of the IRS because I understand the law and I understand how to deal with the IRS, I've got this huge advantage. And I think that's going to be true more in the next couple of years than it's been for a very long time, that those who take advantage of everybody else being having fear and uncertainty, because now they've got a coach with Reset Coaching. They've got mentors. They're using this space, as you say, Robert, between their ears. They're using that. Now, all of a sudden, now you've got a huge advantage because everybody else has fear and uncertainty. So I actually think that's the big opportunity.
Nomi, it all nailed it. Facts are the opposite of fear. When people get fearful, their capacity for critical thinking gets disabled. And what everybody here is saying is not to be fearful. Stay with the facts. And Nomi, you summed it up perfectly as I see it, in what to invest in, where to invest in, and why to invest in what's happening in the future. And Robert as well, in saying that, at the bottom, and Kim, is the time to go up. And the bottom is going to happen. When it happens, we're going to see in several months. And so what I'm saying is that, I'm speaking for myself, in looking at the future, get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Because the bottom line is, you're on your own. You can look to everybody else for help and assistance, but you have to be in the best shape you can in every way you can to move ahead the strongest that you can.
Well, I can't reiterate enough to turn off that news, and Gerald, to your point that the media is just throwing so much fear and paralyzing people, pitting people against each other. So turn off the noise, start learning on on Rich Dad World, start learning from newsletters from Nomi and Gerald and Tom, and books and YouTube. And there's so much good information out there. And to the point, don't be fearful. Take those steps and take just little steps. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to bet the ranch. Just take little steps. That's how Robert and I learn. We want to learn about an investment. We want to learn about a business. We put a little money into it. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but you know what? We always get smarter.
Mm-hmm.
If you have no action, you don't learn anything.
Yeah.
So you got to take control. But I always remember my favorite financial advisor is Miss Piggy. And this Miss Piggy, and one thing, this is going to be the best time of your life or the worst. It's up to you. But as Miss Piggy says, the answer to all financial problems is make more money. I'll leave it with that.
And with that, thank you to our amazing panel today. We definitely covered a lot of great information about what lies ahead for investors in 2023 and beyond. And so I just want to tell all of our viewers, make sure that you stay tuned so that you can hear more about how you can continue your financial education from the Rich Dad World. So stick around. Wow, that was incredible. What a powerful event. Now, let's talk about how you can turn that information into a plan of action to accomplish your personal financial goals. Now, Robert's agreed to join me for this upcoming segment to answer your questions and help you get started. Now, while Robert takes a minute to get settled in before answering questions, he asked me to share with you the details about his latest step-by-step how-to training program. While he gets ready, let me say, I hope you're feeling motivated to get out of the rat race once and for all and take your next step right away. Robert and I both have complete confidence in your ability to do this because you know what? Most people don't seek out financial education like you're doing right now. Only the most successful people do that. And by showing up here today to seek out a better life, you've shown you're ready to do whatever it takes to be successful. What we're about to share with you is so exclusive, it's limited to only the first 100 people who respond during the airing of this event. Robert is so passionate about elevating the financial well-being of humanity, he's giving away 6 free coaching sessions with his personally trained coaches. But it's only for the first 100 of you who want to get started today. This is an unadvertised special bonus from Robert valued at $2,000. You may never see this free coaching offer ever again. This opportunity is designed to help you quickly achieve financial independence and begin immediately increasing your monthly cash flow. Hopefully, after today's session, you're going to realize how simple success can be if you just follow the path of those who have already done what you're trying to do. This is why Robert is giving away this free, unadvertised $2,000 bonus today. Learn what they did to succeed and repeat what they did. It's the easiest and fastest way to achieve results. Okay, and remember, as promised, Robert is going to stick around and answer your questions, and he's going to share advice to help you take your next steps. Plus, stay tuned after the question and answer session with Robert for a special bonus segment with Robert. So you can take what you've learned today and end up miles ahead of what most people achieve financially in their lifetime. And I certainly hope you do that. I took action myself 20 years ago, and with no experience, no blueprint, I had only read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I knew it was possible. You don't need to waste your time, energy, and hard-earned money the way that I did. You can virtually eliminate your risks and financially achieve success in a fraction of the time it took me. 20 years ago, I wish I had what Robert and his team are going to offer you today. An exclusive invitation to secure your financial freedom and exit the rat race by implementing Robert's real estate cash flow blueprint. The first of its kind online training system will walk you through the exact steps to acquire at least one cash flow producing property in the next year, and then repeat the process again and again. So if you're serious about finally getting out of the rat race, if you want a proven step-by-step system to achieve financial freedom faster than you ever thought possible, if you want to guarantee yourself a raise of at least $6,000 every single year, and if you want to take all of the risky guesswork out of increasing your cash flow, then the real estate cash flow blueprint is specifically for you. In order to fulfill Robert's mission to elevate the financial well-being of humanity, he worked with his team to develop an innovative, step-by-step system that lays out exactly what to do to achieve financial independence with real estate. It's literally a blueprint for building a bridge to financial freedom the Rich Dad way. After you've gone through this step-by-step system, you'll know exactly how to buy your first or your next investment property with positive cash flow, with little or none of your own money guaranteed. Take Lisa, for example. She started like I did. She picked up the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad and had her eyes opened. She had to really work to get her husband on board at first because this was such a big change for them. But they knew they had to do something different because they had such big expenses and no true assets. But now their passive income has surpassed their expenses. Here's what Lisa had to say. We're proud to say we reached our goal of acquiring passive income over expenses in our own personal lives. This was no easy task since we had lots of expenses and no true assets. However, with the knowledge that the Rich Dad team offers, which is massive, a little patience, persistence, and minding our business, we were able to achieve this in a few short years. Lisa R., Tennessee. Wow, I still can't help but get excited when I hear results like that. And the real estate cash flow blueprint is going to make them attainable for you too. This system comes to you with 7 comprehensive sessions you can access anytime, where Robert's personally trained real estate experts walk you through every profit-making strategy you need to know. They'll show you step by step how to achieve real wealth with real estate. Even if you have little or no money, no experience, and you have a full-time job, let me quickly show you what you're going to learn in each module. In module number 1, Think Like the Rich, you'll learn how to leverage not only your own money, but more importantly, other people's money to unlock true wealth. You'll start to think like the rich think and seize opportunities that are right in your backyard, just like the rich do. In module number 2, Taking Control of Your Cash Flow, you'll learn how simple it is to finally take back control of your cash flow and establish your plan, be secure, and live life on your terms. Module number 3 is where you're going to learn how you can do this no matter what your schedule is, whether you have a demanding full-time job or you're an extremely busy parent. It's called Making Time for Success. And by the end, you'll be leveraging your personal time like the rich manage theirs, so you can get the highest returns on the time you do have available. In module number 4, Identifying Your Target Market, we'll give you the tips, tricks, and secrets to locate properties with the most profit potential. So you're not going to have to worry about where to look or how to know if a property has great potential or not. We're going to show you exactly what to look for and what to avoid. Of course, finding the right market and properties is only half the equation. That's why in module number 5, Finding Properties That Cash Flow, we'll show you how to find motivated sellers and maximize your cash flow, so you don't have to waste your time chasing unprofitable deals. After doing this over and over again all over the world, we know the specific traits to look for in a seller in order to get unbelievable value out of your deal. So this really gives you an unfair advantage in every potential deal you find. In module number 6, Showing You the Money, you'll learn how you can acquire almost any deal using creative financing techniques to purchase properties with little or no down payment. And ultimately, in module number 7, Doing Your First Deal, you're going to see step-by-step how to establish connections and negotiate your deals for maximum cash flow. As you watch these sessions, Robert's experts will walk you through everything you need to quickly start acquiring cash flow producing properties. You're also going to have instant access to Robert's step-by-step real estate cash flow curriculum, which includes in-depth exercises and training materials. This will allow you to map out your exact plan of action, so you'll have a completely unique blueprint designed the Rich Dad way for your specific market and your financial situation. So, immediately after you join today, you're going to receive an email from the Rich Dad team giving you instant access to the entire real estate cash flow blueprint system. Inside our secure, members-only site, you'll have immediate access to the highest quality training material we believe exists on the market today. And you'll also get every update that we implement as time goes on. So you can keep coming back to this again and again to help you acquire even more assets. You're getting the exact system Robert's developed to help people acquire their first property without the fear and pitfalls that hold most would-be investors back. Start generating positive cash flow and passive income within just a few months of getting started. Eliminate the easily avoidable but all too common mistakes that cost amateur investors thousands of dollars and endless stress. Becoming financially free so you can stop worrying and live the life you've always wanted. Maybe that means taking that dream vacation with your family. Or maybe it means eventually walking away from your 9-to-5 job so you can have the flexibility to spend more time with the people that matter most while pursuing your passion. It's all put together for you as if Robert's team of experts were standing right beside you, showing you what to do every step of the way. You can do this if you have no experience, even if you don't have a ton of money or good credit, and even if you feel like you don't have the spare time to get started. Let's hear about the experience of a couple of rich dad success stories who took control of their financial future, and they've seen some amazing results.
I had taken Robert's first class. So Robert's one of his coaching classes. And I went off and I bought my first rental. Along with that, I have used Robert's knowledge that he's given me to purchase commercial land. And now I'm buying this building. I believe in what Robert's saying. Like, I'm just going to trust and I'm going to do what they tell me to do, increase my financial education as much as I can. And it's certainly not the popular thing among all my friends who are like employees and they got degrees and now I'll see those guys around town like, hey, Charles, how's work going? I'm like, I don't work anymore. You guys work. I am living the dream. I love what I'm doing. And I had some offline discussions with my coach and picked his brain on some questions that I had. And he was very helpful. But, the people that I've acquired on my teams over the years can help me through it too. And I look to the Rich Dad coaches for their help too.
Hi, everybody. This is a warm welcome from Munich, Germany. My name is Martina. I started then watching all the events in the internet with Kim and Robert. And finally, I realized that I'd done enough reading, done enough passive watching, and that it was about time to take action. And that was the moment where I enrolled into the Rich Dad program. And since then, my life really has been speeding up. I'm now about halfway through the program, and I've already made some really amazing experiences. And things definitely have changed for me. The most amazing thing for me was that I suddenly started realizing that there were opportunities out there right in front of me. Just didn't realize that they're there. I just didn't see them. Not only get the theoretical education, but also to learn the practical things step by step. Is working no matter which country you come from. It really gives you the confidence, it gives you the knowledge, it gives you the tools to take the necessary steps to gain some passive income and to change your financial education.
There's no good reason why you can't be one of Robert's next success stories. If they did it, you can too. Again, the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint is going to show you how to achieve these same kinds of results. And because you'll have complete access to the training, you can use it to duplicate those results again and again as you acquire more and more assets. Now, I'm guessing the question on everyone's mind at this point is, how much does the Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint cost? We believe the financial education this system gives you exceeds virtually any other real estate investing seminar or course you'll find in the market. And there are live in-person investing seminars charging as much as $30,000 for teaching similar kinds of real estate investing techniques. Not only are these seminars expensive, they're inconvenient. You have the added cost of travel, not to mention the time spent away from your family. And then you have to cram into some hotel room and listen to speakers drone on for hours. And if you attend one of these, I hope you're great at taking notes, because you only get to hear the information once. You don't get to come back to it again and again in a convenient online format like Robert's Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint. That's why Robert created the new Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint system, so everyone could afford the professional support they need to finally get out of the rat race once and for all. And the great news is, Robert's newest step-by-step system won't cost you anywhere near $30,000. To make sure everyone can afford the training and education necessary to build wealth and finally get out of the rat race, Robert is making his new Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint system available today only to the first 100 students at an exclusive introductory live stream special price. Now, this offer is only valid during this strategy session, and it's limited to the first 100 students who act right now. To take advantage of the exclusive introductory live stream offer for the first 100 students and get instant access to the entire Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint, simply click the button that says, "Yes, I want in." You'll enter your information into our secure system, and you'll get an email giving you immediate access. Robert is so passionate about helping students who help themselves. He wants to reward your decision to take action and invest in your financial freedom with 3 incredible bonuses, available exclusively to those attending this strategy session. The first bonus, it's called the Personal Real Estate Riches Profile, and it was created by the world-renowned Myers-Briggs. This profile will show you that it really doesn't matter what kind of personality you have, whether you're introverted, extroverted, feel anxious talking about money, or excited about it. There are proven tactics you can use to feel comfortable and confident in the negotiating process and save yourself thousands of dollars. So that means you're going to get Rich Dad's Real Estate Cash Flow Blueprint and the Personal Real Estate Riches Profile, which is already a total value of close to $2,700. Of course, you'll be getting it at a fraction of that. But that's not all you're going to get. Let's talk about bonus number 2. Now, the only thing that can be more paralyzing